Basic Cooperative Course, Module 3, Lesson 1. Cooperative Plans and Programs. This is the third and final module of the Basic Cooperative Course. This module covers 2 lessons and focuses on the plans, programs, and policies of the cooperative. There are separate courses for strategic planning and policy development, so this module will serve as introduction to these 2 courses. It will focus on the what rather than the how of planning, program, and policy development. The objective here is to enable cooperative officers taking this module to look at their existing plans, programs, and policies with a view to improving them. The first lesson is on planning and what makes a good plan for the cooperative. Let's first define what planning is. Simply stated, planning is determining what we want to accomplish and developing approaches to achieving those things we want to accomplish. From this simple definition, let us highlight some words we normally associate with planning. For example, when we talk of what we want to accomplish, we usually associate this in planning with the words vision and goals. When we talk of approaches to achieving those things we want to accomplish, we usually associate this in planning with the words mission and strategy. We will define each of these words later, including other words closely associated with them, like objectives, target, and activities. Let's go back to the definition of planning. We said planning is determining what we want to accomplish and developing approaches to achieving what we want to accomplish. Of course, we always want to accomplish more or do things better from year to year. If there are things in the present operation of our cooperative that need improvement, we want to correct these or do these better in the coming year. Or even if we think the cooperative is already doing good, we still want to do better in the future and accomplish new things. There are important things to take note here. First, planning involves improving on the present. If we are just contented with what we are doing at present and we see no need to improve on this, then we don't need to plan. But if we feel we need to continue improving and to accomplish greater things, then we need to plan. Second, planning always involves the future. We look ahead and determine the improvement, the change, and the new things we want our cooperative to achieve. So from the present, we move to the future by going through a process of thinking and decision-making. So the third consideration involved in planning is a systematic approach. In planning, there are a series of steps we have to go through in formulating our plan. There is a system to planning, and we have to follow the system in order to make the planning process orderly and complete. There are 3 more considerations that are important in planning. One is the word change. When we talk of improving something in the cooperative, or when we talk of accomplishing new things, we are really talking about realizing some change. Change from what is at present to what should be in the future. But such change does not happen automatically. There is a process involved, and we need to manage this process. So in planning, we are really talking about managing change. The number 2 consideration is commitment. Although we put our plan in paper, but in reality it's people who will implement it. So it's very important that people who will implement the plan are committed to it. Otherwise, the plan will remain in paper. But to get the commitment of people to plan, it is also important that they are part of the process. Involvement of people, therefore, in the crafting of the plan should always be considered. Some call this buy-in. When people are involved in the planning process, they buy into the plan. In other words, they feel they are part of it, and therefore commit themselves to realizing the plan. Finally, the number 3 consideration is resources. Resources refer to human, financial, and material resources. Our plan, however well it is thought out and crafted, cannot be realized unless the necessary resources are available to accomplish it. Most of these resources are internal or sourced inside the cooperative, but other sources have to be sourced from outside. Now, to summarize the key considerations in planning. 1. In planning, we talk about the present, or more precisely, improving the present. 2. We talk about the future, or looking ahead to what we want to happen. 3. We talked about a systematic approach, or a step-by-step process of putting together the plan. 4. We talk about managing change, because change in the cooperative does not happen automatically. It has to be managed. 5. There has to be commitment from everyone involved in implementing the plan. And 6. There has to be resources available to those who will implement the plan. Let's continue our discussion by differentiating two types of plan. The first type is called strategic plan. The second type is called the operational plan. In both these plans, we determine in advance what we want to accomplish and how to accomplish them. The main difference is, in the strategic plan, we talk of long-range goals, normally more than 1 year, while in the operational plan, we talk of short-term objectives, or those that can be accomplished within 1 year. In the strategic plan, the orientation is broad and directional, involving matters that show people in the cooperative, especially the decision makers, where the cooperative wants to go. This is the responsibility of the board of directors. The focus of the board here is on the issues of change, adaptation, and innovation. The board should ask these important questions. Based on our current understanding of environment, are we doing the right thing? How can we best use our resources to achieve our mission? In the operational plan, on the other hand, the orientation is narrow and specific, since we are talking here of accomplishing short-range objectives. The operational plan is concerned with the day-to-day implementation of strategic decisions that have to be realized within a period of 1 year. This is the responsibility of management, who has to focus on the issues of control and efficiency. Here, management has to ask the following questions. What do we need to be doing for the upcoming year, or immediately, to best accomplish our mission? Now that we have mentioned mission, let's talk about what a mission is. Every cooperative should have a mission statement. This is the first thing we articulate when we do strategic planning. A mission is a brief and clear statement of the purpose of the cooperative, or why the organization exists. It should clearly tell people who we are, what we do, and who do we serve. A good mission statement should guide cooperative leaders in making major policy decisions about alternative courses of action. It also serves as a point of reference for all major planning decisions. Therefore, it should be clearly stated and short enough to be easily understood and even memorized by people inside the cooperative, especially the decision makers. At this point, look at the mission statement of your cooperative. Does it measure up to what we have described as a good mission statement? What about vision? Every cooperative should also have a vision statement. A vision is a compelling image of the preferred future the cooperative wants to realize. It articulates its highest aspirations. We say compelling because the vision should move and inspire people inside the organization. We can do this if the vision is stated in clear and positive language. At the same time, it has to be realistic and credible, and can drive people to excellence and long-term success. It has to be short enough for people inside the cooperative to memorize. Finally, the vision statement should be widely shared by people inside the cooperative. Look at the vision statement of your cooperative. Does it measure up to the characteristics of a good vision statement described above? What about strategy? When we talk of strategy, we are really talking about how to pursue the mission of the cooperative. Our strategy tells us where the business of the cooperative is trying to get to in the long term. When we articulate our strategy, we point to the kind of activities our cooperative decides to be involved in, given the market it has chosen. We also point to what the cooperative can do better than its competitors in that market, taking into consideration the environment or the external factors that affect its ability to compete. Lastly, our strategy incorporates the values and expectations of our internal stakeholders, particularly the co-op officers, management, and even members who participate actively in the business of the cooperative. Strategy connects our mission to the goals of the cooperative, so it is important to articulate our different strategies clearly and objectively. What about goals and objectives?
These words mean actually the same,
and sometimes used interchangeably, in that they refer to specific, measurable, and attainable end results that we want to see realized within a period of time. The difference lies in their time orientation. A goal usually refers to a longer time frame or over 1 year, while an objective refers to end results that can be achieved in a year or less. Goals and objectives translate the mission and strategy of the cooperative into concrete terms, so it is important that they are defined clearly and objectively. They have to be measurable, realistic, and time-bounded. This is why the goals and objectives are usually followed by targets. Targets are concrete indicators by which to measure results, and targets are normally expressed in numbers or percentages. For example, 1,000 new members, or increase of 20% in sales in a specified period of time. When our goals and objectives are SMART, namely specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded, we can translate them into clear programs and activities that have to be undertaken to realize those goals and objectives. Programs are initiatives that the cooperative decides to pursue in line with its goals, but with their own specific objectives, targets, and activities. Programs can either be broad and can be implemented beyond the life of the operational plan, or they can be narrow and can be concluded within a year. Activities, on the other hand, are a series of concrete and related action steps or tasks necessary to achieve the goals or objectives. When our programs and activities are clearly stated, we can designate the individuals who will be responsible for performing the needed tasks. We can also allocate resources effectively and draw up a realistic budget to support the plan. We are now at the end of this lesson, but before we close, it is good to ask ourselves the following questions. First, does our cooperative have a strategic plan? If so, does it have all the elements of a good strategic plan as discussed above? Second, does our cooperative have an operational plan? If so, does it have all the elements of a good operational plan as discussed above? We hope that your answers to these questions are positive. We can then move on to the next lesson, which is focused on policies.